students of Reddit, what was your school's big scandal? There was a white kid who had a black baby mannequin to take care of for a week for some project to see if he would be a responsible parent. He hung the baby on a tree outside of the school, expelled and made news on the local paper. Beside that, not much. I was given a black baby for what sounds like the same assignment and was called Obama's father for about 2 days. My high school did a block lunch where everyone ate lunch at the same time instead of separating them into A, B, C lunches. Because our cafeteria couldn't fit the entire student body, it was normal for kids to be eating in the hallway, on the floor, or at tables all throughout the school. One day during lunch, unbeknownst to the staff and student body, our AP decided to hold a lockdown drill. He got on the intercom and told everyone there was an active shooter in the cafeteria in order to see how kids would react had it been a real shooting. Turned into pure anarchy. Kids calling 911, running out of school and not returning to class after the drill was over. Kids having anxiety attacks while hiding in classrooms. Dying calls from students to parents. It was pretty bad. Should I mention how this was several days after the Parkland shooting? My history teacher blackmailed the girls who weren't doing so good on his class. He exchanged good grades for nudes. Had a few. High school math teacher got a DUI on a tractor and was fired. PS teacher had an affair while both were married to other people. They eventually both divorced and ended up marrying each other. Accounting teacher married a student about a week after she graduated. Rumor was that they were already sleeping together when she was 16 and she was pregnant before graduation as well by the teacher. A couple bomb threats. At the end of my senior year, we had bomb threats about 2-3 times a week. One of them was written in lipstick on the mirror of one of the girls' bathrooms. It said, "Bomb Manana." It was so ridiculous. Crap like this had us standing out in a grass field for hours while the police checked the building. The summer after I graduated, the principal was caught propositioning underage teenage male prostitutes. Turns out my geography teacher was a diddler with several thousand accounts of chili pea on their computer. A bunch of seniors were having a graduation party in the woods. One of them passed out drunk, rolled into a 6-inch deep culvert and drowned. They didn't notice he died until morning. Someone burned down one of our buildings. Oh, I forgot all about the student crime. In middle school, a kid broke in one night to the building with the library. He piled up a bunch of books and set them on fire. Plus he stole some stuff. One of the things he stole was a t-shirt from a fundraiser display. He got busted because he wore the shirt, a shirt no one else would have. A string of deaths 3 years in a row was finally broken when some guy jumped out a 2-story building but lived. Every year in my school one student would die. Freshman year, we had a guy commit suicide because of bullying. Sophomore year a girl gets hit by a car. And junior year, a guy gets a heart attack at 17. Senior year was the only year I heard of with no deaths. In middle school the athletics director was caught putting cameras in the girls' locker room. Teacher sent nudes to a kid because the kids pretended to be a different person on a dating website. Teacher left. Kid was expelled. Happened at my old high school. Kid catfished the teacher and the teacher committed suicide. It was in 2007, but my high school had a string of bomb threats. There was a bathroom where no cameras could see who went in or out, and someone wrote in Sharpie across one of the stall doors, "There's a bomb in the school with that day's date." The school was evacuated, and we all went home. For the next few months, there was a bomb threat seemingly every Friday. We'd be in the middle of the first or second period, then we'd all go home. After we missed enough days, we all had to come in on several Saturdays, and the bomb threats stopped. We also had a bunch of bomb threats around the same time, but they caught the guy doing it. I guess he had a couple of tests he didn't want to do, so he used the bomb threats to force an evacuation to get extra time. The school held a special assembly just for the sole purpose of making him apologize in front of the whole school. He cried the entire time. Some kids didn't want to take a state-mandated test, so they lit fireworks off in the bathroom. But they didn't realize how quickly they would explode and all 3 of them got burned. The whole school had to stand outside for hours. This actually came out during my last semester there, but it had been happening for years. One of the English teachers had been having physical relationships with a few select students every year. Most were football players. It got really weird. When I had her class, it wouldn't be out of place if a student from another class asked to go to the bathroom and just went to her room to see her. One day some kid brought her a drink from McDonald's because he was late to school and got breakfast. It only came out because there was this one girl who was in an argument with her for some reason and said something along the lines of, "That's why you frick your students," and the whole incident got brought up to the office and they interviewed everyone. Found out she'd had fricked multiple students for the past few years. Some students put pins into the sewing teacher's coffee. Luckily the teacher was okay, but it definitely could have been worse. We had a senior, male student in my high school who knocked up a freshman and the Spanish teacher within like a week of each other. Dios mío. In high school, a female dance teacher had a physical relationship with a 15-year-old female student. The dance teacher and her husband had a threesome with said student and videotaped it. The husband also got a tattoo of the 15-year-old girl's initials. Pretty fricked up crap. Not my school, but the small town high school where my kids now attend. Married female office admin Jetta's physically involved with a female student. Goes to jail for a few years. 10 years later, husbands of both women find out they have secret cell phones and have been carrying on a relationship off and on since the older one got out of prison. That sounds like a Lifetime movie. An English teacher slapped a kid in class and retired that week. The dream of plenty a teacher. A girl got pregnant and told everyone the father was our English teacher. Turns out, no one even knows who the father is, her included. The biology teacher was having an affair with the principal. Yeah, my principal was fricking every teacher. I was homeschooled, though. A 16-year-old sending nudes to a 12-year-old in a Baptist school. Teacher sucked a kid's dong during my senior year. He showed a few people the video, then he proceeded to move to California. She still works there to this day. Empty balls make safe halls. This got more attention than I thought, so I have to credit Andrew Schultz for the joke. Girl attempted suicide in the girls' bathroom. Guy got caught fricking a teammate in the locker room after practice. 3 girls caught snorting C in the bathroom. Someone was boinking a teacher, but we never found out who. Teacher resigned. Someone put red hot in the hand dryer in the boys' bathroom and it caught fire. 4 years of school. 3 fire alarm balls. Growing up in a 3K population town in the middle of fricking nowhere was crazy as heck sometimes. These events were over my 4 years of high school. Not a scandal, but my entire high school was put under lockdown because there was a rabid squirrel on campus. That's probably my favorite one so far. 2 years ago, a senior brought in a adult doll for Secret Santa. He then brought it to the senior room and essentially had a fake gangbang with it with 20 other people. That's just group masturbation with extra steps. When I was in primary school, 9-yo, a kid from 1st grade caught my teacher and the principal doing it in his office. Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and then the baby looked at me. A woman with severe medical issues, both physical and mental deficiencies, snuck away from her group home and hid in the broom closet of our cafeteria for 2 days. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. This was in 2007. We didn't have cameras or anything and no one saw her go in or out. They only knew she was there because the jacket had the name of the high school, and when she was found she straight up told the police she had been hiding in there for 2 days. The group home said she had been missing for roughly a day and a half. Parents were upset obviously, but nothing changed until last year when the school shut down due to low attendance admission enrollment. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. Power move. My sophomore year of high school, the gym teacher's brother gets hired as the computer teacher. Nice guy, was personable, not as much as his brother but still. 2/3 through the year he just vanishes and most of the teachers don't want to talk about it. Eventually it gets out that when he was in college, the computer teacher got into a barroom brawl. During the brawl he took a pool ball, put it inside of a sock, swung it and smashed a guy in the head with it. The guy who get hit had permanent brain damage. The school found out midway through the year and that is why they let him go. There was a male head of year who was gay and had physical relations with a guy who was a minor without knowing he was a minor. He left the school but I believe did not face any legal repercussions because it was clear that he had been deceived into thinking the individual was an adult could legally give consent. Couple things happened at my school. One of the PE teachers basically physically abused a lot of girls while teaching gymnastics. We also had like 10 people from the same grade picked up by police because they were selling drugs in school, and I mean like a lot of drugs. Was during my sophomore year. A male super senior was fricking a female freshman in the women's restroom. In my senior year, one of the popular football players was killed while he was driving drunk. It was obviously big news on campus, and just a few days after, the school had this giant memorial on our football field dedicated to talking about how great of a guy he was and how he'll be dearly missed. He also got like 5 consecutive pages in our yearbook dedicated to him. But not long before his death, a less popular band student had committed suicide and his death didn't receive nearly as much coverage. He didn't get a giant memorial and he didn't get mentioned in our yearbook. One girl made this giant rant about this double standard on Facebook and it went viral around our campus. Our school was split. Some people praised her for pointing it out. Others were pissed and said that what she did was inappropriate. Even one of my English teachers defended the football player. She said that his death was a tragic accident, whereas a band student chose to die, and that there's a big difference. This girl went on to leave the school because she was getting death threats from friends of the football player, and our entire campus was completely divided over this whole incident. Football player chose to die with poor choices. If you plan on drinking, don't bring your freaking car. Simple as that. We currently have a lawsuit against our district. The nurses are claiming harassment against an intermediate principal, and the district refused to step in. Apparently the nurses caught him having an affair and told his wife. He pinned one against a wall and demanded to see her phone. Not that juicy, but the basketball coach gym adult ED teacher was a teacher who clearly hated working with wee little shoots like us. So some of us did some investigating how he came to be our phys ed teacher. Turns out he had been a basketball coach for one of the top university teams in the country just 5 blocks away from our school. But he violated ethics codes by playing players who were academically unable to play and had evidence of him talking to professors about their grades. Got sacked, and our high school basketball scholarship private type jumped at the opportunity to pick up a coach banned from university leagues. Of course he'd have to run gym class and teach 13-year-olds about their changing bodies as well. Guy really lucked out. Most middle school teachers I met hate it. At that age kids are so hormonal and violent. I remember witnessing students curse at teacher, steal things from teachers, attack teachers, to look cool in front of their friends. Team student in our engineering school was making high quality M to pay for his schooling. Got caught his senior year right before graduation. You know he couldn't have done it himself. I feel like your science teacher, Mr. White, may have helped him. I guess the biggest scandal was when a teacher tried to kill herself and failed. A kid was trying to get initiated into the Bloods. Part of this is committing a serious act of violence, so he brought a Glock to school and tried to kill the school resource officer. Principal tackled him the second he saw him pull out the pistol. Everybody hated the principal until that day. We were on CNN that night. On the lighter side, the vice principal wrecked his car one night coming back from a school football game. Somehow he had managed to hit a dead cow on the side of the road. For the rest of the year he got subjected to random moves when he walked down the halls. I thought this story was boring up until I got to this line. That was hilarious. Teacher and student were arguing about something. Student got in teacher's face. Teacher yelled at him to get out. Student said no. Teacher spat in student's face. Student pushed him against blackboard. Video ends. This class was hella annoying though. There are so many videos about them harassing the teacher. One guy rolled a cig in class next to the teacher. I think he was expelled, and multiple students as well. I'm out of school now, but in high school it was discovered that a student had attempted to print the statistics exam to study before the test. This was found out in the morning when the teachers went into the math office, put more paper in the printer, and out came the exam that the stats teacher did not print. Now, Cheating at my high school was punishable by expulsion, so the teachers all flipped out. This was fall exam, so we had a whole year of school assemblies where we all got talked to. I was a sophomore at the time and only seniors took stats, but they were basically trying to get anyone who knew something to talk. No one ever said a word. No one guy got in trouble. Nothing. We even talked about it after the seniors graduated and no one knew anything. So either someone is amazing at keeping secrets or the stats teacher printed it by accident and didn't realize and found in the morning because the printer ran out of paper. So on the day ahead of a huge event that was going to happen in the auditorium of our school, someone peed on the audio equipment in the auditorium of our school and it ended up not working anymore. The principal announced that anyone who was a witness and who could tell them who culprit is would receive 500 euros from the school. Turns out it was someone from our neighboring class, and probably 8-10 guys from that class went into the principal's office to rat him out and receive the money. Just that the majority of them who went there were just claiming to have witnessed it to receive money as well. The guy got expelled from school and had to pay for new audio equipment, which was probably at least around 3,000-4,000 euros. Though I DK whether everyone who ratted him out ended up receiving the 500 euro or not. 3 popular students from my high school were drinking and driving and speeding around town. Eventually they drove into a tree doing 120 kilometers per hour and they all died on impact. 3 pages in the yearbook, an assembly, counseling, memorial, and a day off from school for 3 guys who endangered the lives of others. About 6 months later, a student got hit by a car speeding through the school zone while he was crossing the street. This kid wasn't popular by any means. Mostly kept to themselves, but he was a nice guy and was really into music and computers. Not a single mention in the yearbook. No announcement. No assembly. No counseling for the people that knew him. No memorial. Nothing. It became very apparent the popularity contests among teachers and the favoritism they showed the more popular students. The principal actually had to step down the year after I graduated due to her personal interests conflicting with her professional responsibilities. Well, there are a bunch of kids who smoke and vape in the bathrooms, but last year the physics teacher had a huge thing for underage girls. This happened in the early 90s before the internet. There was a student teacher, an education major from university, doing her practicum in the classroom, in her early 20s, that some of the seniors ran into at the bar one night. Drinking ages 18 where I live. Lots of drinking happened. She went back to a party afterward and got photographed having a threesome with 2 of the students. Photocopies of the Polaroid flooded the school. She was gone pretty much immediately. The administration swept it all under the rug, and anyone caught with a copy of the Polaroid was threatened with expulsion. You have been visited by the IT lizard. Upvote or experience bad internet for a month. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.